Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. If you are new, welcome. I hope you enjoy my channel. So today's video is going to be breakup advice along with my experience. So a year ago today, I got out of a toxic relationship. It wasn't anything like physically abusive. It wasn't even super emotionally abusive, but it was a little bit emotionally abusive. I was just really stressed out and I lost a lot of self-confidence. And so I'm here to tell you my story and give you a little bit of advice if you are going through a breakup. So just a little bit of a disclaimer before we get started. All the advice given in this video is from what I've experienced and from what others have experienced. And also names will not be mentioned in this video just for the sake of privacy, and honestly that's just kind of rude to mention names. His name will not be mentioned and other people involved names will not be mentioned. So yeah, I hope you enjoy and let's get started. Alright, the first piece of advice I have for you is that breakups suck. Like, no matter if you're the one being broken up with or you do the breaking up, unless you like really hate the person, you're like so happy to have them out of your lives. But most of the time they suck. Don't invalidate your feelings. Breakups suck, and it's okay to feel what you feel about that breakup. Your feelings are valid. Having feelings is part of just being a human. It's a natural response to when something really big happens in your life, and it's okay to feel those feelings. Second piece of advice is talk to people that you trust about it. So like friends, parents, siblings, whatever you're comfortable with, just having someone to talk to about what you're going through and your concerns is definitely very, very helpful. I mostly went to my parents and my really good friend just to kind of rant and figure things out, and they really did get me through that breakup. I don't know what I would have done without them, so thank you guys. The next piece of advice is to be nice to yourself. You may feel like crap throughout the breakup, and trust me, I did for a while, but keep taking care of yourself. Take showers, put on makeup, get dressed in the morning, eat healthy foods, exercise if you do exercise. Most people take showers, but during like the first couple days or weeks or whatever of a breakup, you really just don't have the energy to really put in that self-care time, like based on what I experienced. And another one of the most important things is to just give yourself time to heal. You're not going to heal, like not everyone heals within the same time frame. And so some people could heal from a breakup in like a month or two, and others it could like take a whole year or something. So everybody's different. Don't compare yourself to someone else and be like, why am I not over this person by now? Like I should be. Everyone's emotions and how their brain is wired is different. So just give yourself time to heal and let yourself feel the feelings, but also do things that you enjoy so that you'll still be happy during those times, and it'll kind of take your mind off of that breakup. Spend time with family, hobbies, do your schoolwork. Keep up on schoolwork, guys. So if you're still like really like severely depressed after like the first few weeks, then, and it's like gotten to the point where you are like, you don't want to live anymore, you're having suicidal thoughts or just like harming yourself, that's not a healthy way to cope with something like that, and you need to seek help. Talk to your parents and have them arrange help for you. And don't be ashamed of it. Like, don't be afraid to tell your parents. They're going to love you no matter what. And that kind of coping is not healthy coping. So please get help for that. The next piece of advice I have is, if their relationship was a toxic one, like mine was, don't try to fix things. So what I mean by this is like, don't try to fix the broken relationship. Like, don't try to become friends again. Do not get back together. It never works out most of the time. And so just try not to talk to them too much. don't act like nothing happened, because it did, and most of the time you're still healing and maybe they're still getting over it, so just kind of distance yourself from them. If your relationship allows it, you may be able to become friends again without it being super awkward. But if it was a toxic one, don't get back together, because most likely that toxic person is still going to be toxic if you get back together with them, or if you're just friends with them, they're still going to manifest those toxic traits. So just don't risk it. Next thing is to temporarily delete songs from your playlist that remind you of them. So, sad songs, or your relationship song, the song that you guys like shared or whatever. Temporarily delete them, don't listen to them. You can add them back to your playlist like later once you're ready to listen to them again. Songs, at least for me, they hold a lot of emotions. When I listen to that song like during a time where I'm feeling very strong emotions, like even after a year of breaking up with him, I still can't listen to one song, and it's actually called Out of Love by Alicia Cara, but I still can't listen to that and like not be sad. I don't cry to it anymore, but it just makes me sad, and I've just thought that it's kind of pointless to listen to it because all it does is really make me sad. And so it has that emotion attached to it. And especially when you're still getting over them, it is not helpful to listen to those songs. It is healthy to cry though. So if you need to cry occasionally, then go ahead, listen to those songs. But don't make it like a regular thing, like it's just on your regular playlist. You make a separate playlist for crying. I don't know. The next piece of advice is to get rid of things that they gave you or that remind you of them. So like, say that they gave you a hoodie or a scrunchie or a birthday present or just something that reminds you of them. Just either give it away or just put it away for a little bit until you're ready to see those things again without those emotions washing over you. Personally, I just gave away the things that he gave to me. It was only like one thing, but yeah, I think I just gave them away because it just wasn't worth it to me to keep it. If you want to burn them, like cool, that's great. But like, you don't have to burn them. That's just what some people do. I've never done that, but I feel like it'd be kind of fun, not gonna lie. Next thing is don't diss your ex. So like, don't talk bad about them to your friends or behind their backs or just to people in general, because that can lead to more drama. And there's already drama going on because you guys are separated and you're sad about it and everyone wants to know what happened, but just don't talk bad about them. It creates more drama a lot of the time. Explaining what happened isn't talking bad about them, but like directly like calling them out and calling them names and stuff like that, it's not going to help you, and it's just annoying when people do that. I will admit though that I did do it a little bit, so I guess I'm being kind of a hypocrite right now, but looking back, it definitely didn't help anything, and it just made me feel worse about the situation, and it also just brought up his name, and so I was reminded of him. The next thing is to try not to be around them too much. Like, don't go to places where you know that they're gonna be. Like, eat somewhere else at lunch, sit somewhere different at church or at school, whatever. Obviously you can't avoid this person forever, but you can distance yourself from them. There are things you can control. During the getting over phase, you don't really want to see them because it's not helpful. The next thing is don't call or text or message them, whatever. Just don't do it. Unless you have like a legitimate reason to, like you're working on a project together or something, but if it's just kind of on a whim or just randomly, don't text them. They probably don't want to hear from you, and they probably don't care. Sorry, but it's probably true. Especially if you were the one that got broken up with. Don't even text them to see how they're doing, because then you're focusing on them, and you're not focusing on yourself, and they're like, why is this person texting me again? Yeah, it just makes it awkward between you guys. It also makes you sound like really needy and like really annoying. If you're constantly texting them and saying how much you miss them and all this stuff, because that means that you're not over them yet, and that signals them that they're still attached to you and they want to get back together with you. Don't do that, by the way, like I mentioned previously. I did that. Yeah, I would just randomly message him, whatever, and that didn't help. It honestly just made me feel worse about it because it always ended up talking about what happened, and it just wasn't helpful for me. Adding on to that, unfollow them from social media, delete their number, whatever you need to do to just like get them off your phone. Delete pictures, whatever. If you're not following them on social media, then you're not going to see their posts and you're not going to be tempted to look at their posts. And if you delete their number, you're not going to have your number in their phone, so you can't text them. Just getting rid of everything that could put you in contact with them is a good idea. The last piece of advice I have for you is don't rebound. Rebound relationships almost never last. Some of them do, but you're not in the right place to start dating somebody else when you rebound, because you're still focused on that other person. You're still getting over that other person, and so you're still hurt by it and you're still trying to get over it, and so you can't really give as much attention to your new partner as you usually would if you were in a good state of mind. And that's not good for the other person either, because they're not getting the attention that they need and the love that they need. Okay, so this next part is my experience and what happened, like when everything happened. But this next part is my experience and how the breakup happened and just everything that went down. Again, I'm not going to mention any names or any people involved, and so this is just a little bit of a tea time. Okay, so I met him when I actually met him and like hung out with him when I was like 13, I think. I don't remember what month it was, but I do remember that I was 13. We were really good friends for about a year, and oh wait, was it even a year? No, it wasn't even a year, it was like 6 months. And so we were really, really close. Like, I would tell him everything, and he was just a very, very close friend of mine, someone that I knew that I could trust and just tell everything to, and just always wanting to hang out and late night calls and all that good stuff. I started liking him like, I think a month into us being friends. And I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want to ruin that friendship that we had, because every time I told a guy that I've liked them in the past, it's always just made our relationship awkward, and so I didn't want to tell him. I really wanted to, but I knew that it would just ruin everything. Plot twist, it did. So he eventually found out over like the 6-month period. It took him long enough too. But he still texted me and told me about it, which was kind of a bad move on his part. Like, you don't tell a girl that you like someone else when you know that they like you. Anyway, moving on. So that was the first heartbreak. Yes, there were multiple. So I was just kind of hurt over it. You know, I was like, what the heck, bro? And so I told him that I needed space from him for a little bit, and I just needed time to kind of figure things out, you know, where things were gonna go. And I'm in marching band, so we have band camp every summer in like June, July-ish. And so it was like the end of July and band camp hit. So we're both in marching band. And so we were inevitably gonna see each other at band camp. And so we kind of made up, like that was kind of like, okay, we gotta kind of get over this now and just talk to each other again. He apologized and we were friends again. It was like the second day of band camp, I think, and he pulls me aside and he tells me that his feelings for this other girl have just gone away. Like, he doesn't like her anymore, and that he liked me. Yay. So I was like, heck yes, and like in the spur of the moment, I was like, okay, let's hook up. Without officially saying like, let's date, we just kind of hooked up, I guess. And so it was July 24th when we started dating. See, here's the part that gets me though. I've talked to his sisters and he says that he denies us like ever being together, and he denies ever telling me that he liked me when I vividly remember the moment that he told me. Like, I have the date in my head. Like, September 24th, that's when it happened. And that's kind of weird. Like, I don't know his perspective because I'm not him, but we obviously were together for a little bit. We may have not been officially dating, and he didn't want it to look like we were dating because our religion doesn't want us to date until we're 16. And so we technically weren't supposed to be dating, and so we just kind of called it friends that liked each other. So I just kind of call it being together. The only reason I call him my ex is because it's just the easiest way to explain it and get the point across to other people, so I don't have to like explain the whole story and why he doesn't like me to call him my ex. And it's all just really complicated. I haven't specifically like talked to him personally about it, because I don't know, that'd just be awkward, and I've never gotten the chance to, but I don't get it. Like, how can you not remember telling someone that you liked them? And if he is denying it, then why is he denying it? I don't know. It was great in the beginning stages. Like, through the month of August, that was like the best time I've ever had. Like, it was pretty bomb. Towards the end of it, it started to get a little bit unhealthy. Like, little red flags were kind of thrown out. I just started losing self-confidence, and I was just really stressed out all the time and just constantly questioning if he really did like me. And he wouldn't like reply to my texts after school, which you usually would do if you're together with somebody. At least that's what I think. And so I was just at a really bad state. Like, I couldn't even really talk to him about it because he would just kind of blow it off that I was stressed out. And so I ended up talking to my parents about it one night, and they said that I needed to break up with him and I needed to just end our relationship. And so that was the night before I broke up with him. So that was September 2nd of 2019. He was on a trip for his birthday somewhere, and so he was going to come back the next day, and so that was the day that I could talk to him. And pretty much all morning, like, I procrastinated the time when I had to break up with him because I was so distraught over it. Like, I'm losing my best friend, pretty much. It was like the worst thing ever. So I procrastinated breaking up with him until like the very end of our marching band class. And the entire time I was just avoiding him. And he was just like, what are you doing? You know, I want to hug you, you know, because I haven't seen you in a while. And I was just like, what do I do? I just kind of need to keep avoiding him. By the end of the period, I was like, okay, I need to do this or it's never going to happen. And so he came up to me and he kind of like hugged me from behind. And that was when I realized that it was over. Like, I couldn't do this anymore. And so I turned around and said, I can't do this anymore. Like, we can't be together anymore. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, you need space again? And I'm like, no, we need to break up, essentially. I didn't say that, but we need to end this. Like, we can't do this anymore. I was trying my hardest not to cry because, like, I didn't want to look like I was weak. You know, I wanted to be the strong person. I did cry a little bit because I was really, really hurt over it. Yeah. That was how it happened. Before, when we were still together, at the end of every marching band period, like every day, we would hug because we didn't have the same class period, and we didn't have the same classes for the rest of the day, and so we would hug each other and just say goodbye. We hugged one last time, and then I was on my way to my second period. The realization didn't hit and like didn't sink in until like a few days later. I initially wasn't super distraught over it. I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Of course I was still sad, but the real like distraughtness and like depression didn't really hit until a few days later. It's when I realized that, yeah, I've just lost my best friend. And that's one of the worst feelings in the world. Like, let me tell you. So I was talking to my other guy friend who was also friends with him, about just everything that has happened, and he was sending me screenshots of these texts that he, my ex, whatever, had texted my guy friend. And it was basically saying that towards the end of the relationship, he realized that he still liked this other girl. He just basically faked liking me because he didn't want to hurt me. Which is like the dumbest thing ever. I mean, I see what his intentions were, but it hurts a lot more to be lied to than to just be told straight up. So he was faking liking me. So the next day, I confronted him and I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, you faked liking me? Like, you played me? And he's like, yeah, I guess I did. And I was like, dude, what the heck? Like, why you gotta do me like that, you know? We were both really immature at the time. We were both immature and didn't know how to handle a relationship, and that's why it fell apart. Like, we just couldn't really handle it, you know how to deal with the ups and downs of everything. And it wasn't healthy for me. It probably wasn't very enjoyable for him towards the end of it, and so I felt like I needed to end it just for the sake of my mental health. I wish I could go back in time and just stay friends. Like, not throw out all those signals. Because if we would have stayed friends and would have never gotten together, we probably would still be friends, if I'm being completely honest. And that was a great friendship that I lost. And to be honest, I don't really miss the dating part or being together part of the relationship. I miss the friendship that we had. And it was just, I was so broken over it. Like, it took me legit like 10 months to get over it entirely. Like, to the point where it didn't hurt me to think about him or listen to songs or whatever. 10 months. And one of the times that I texted him, I asked him how long it took for him to get over it, and he said a couple weeks. So that just shows you the difference of the person who has been broken up with versus the person who did the breaking up. I technically broke up with him, but he had kind of already ended it at that point. I was just making it official. Breakups suck. They really do. And I got you. Like, I totally get what you're going through. If you're going through a breakup right now, or have gone through a breakup, or are thinking about breaking up, But there were some positives that came out of breaking up. Like, I was able to go to my best friend, Megan, and she just really helped me through everything and just really got me through the breakup along with my parents, but she was another big part of it. During that time, we got really close because we were talking about personal stuff, and now we're like super close, and she's just such an amazing person. A good friendship came out of that, and I'm so thankful for her. Another thing that came out of it is that I learned a lesson, and I grew, and I matured, and it's made me a stronger person. Just going through all those like really, really intense emotions and then pulling myself out of it with the help of others. But just having that motivation to pull myself out of that deep hole that I was in, it made me stronger over the process of getting over a breakup, because I've just learned that I don't need someone else to be happy. Like, you can't depend on other people to make you happy. True happiness comes from within yourself and from God. But that was one of the biggest lessons I learned. It really has helped shape me into the person I am now. Even though it was only a year ago, I've grown so much over this past year. And I wish it didn't happen, but I'm also thankful that it did, because it taught me a lesson that I needed to learn, and everything happens for a reason. During it sucked. Like, it was horrible during it. I never thought that I was going to get over it. But as soon as I did and I got out of that, I realized that God put that obstacle in my path to help develop my character and make me stronger. And so I'm very thankful for that. So there definitely are positives that come out of a breakup. You find someone new, you discover yourself while you're healing, you figure out that you don't need a boy or a girl or whatever to be happy, and you really just get to know yourself more and just improve yourself during the whole experience. Because in order to get over that relationship, you have to figure out what works for you and what helps you get through that. And so you are just really doing just a self-check of like what kind of person you are and who you really are. And so I really just got to know myself during that breakup process, just over time. And I just noticed that I was progressively healing, and I was figuring out what things helped me and what didn't. And so even though it sucked, it was a huge blessing in my life looking back on it. And I gained a friend, a very, very good friend. And so it's kind of, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, you just gotta keep pushing through. Like, things will get better. You will be happy again. And you'll find someone else that will be a better fit for you, and that will treat you better, and you'll be more mature, and there's someone out there waiting for you. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video. I just really want to help you guys if you're going through anything similar to me. Please like it and subscribe and share it with your friends, and comment down below if you've ever gone through a breakup or going through one right now, or you know someone else that has. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!